Right, okay then. I've marked out the neck socket, and it took quite a bit of doing. First of all, basically, draw a centre line down the body. You know how wide the neck, on this guitar, the one that I did the drawings of, then the neck body joint was just after the 16th fret, and measuring the width just after the 16th fret on this fretboard was 54.5 millimeters. So you know that the center line starts at half of 54.5 millimeters, 17.25 or something like that. So that's the start of the center line there. And then here I just measured halfway between the body and just did the center line down. And again, according to my drawings, the end of the neck socket was 109 millimeters. The end of the fretboard was 79.8 millimeters. That's all from this front edge of the body, so 109 to the back of the hole for the tenon, and then 79 to the edge. That's just arbitrary anyway, it doesn't affect this. So basically I've marked the neck joint here. I mean, the important thing is that you know, obviously I'm lucky enough to have this fretboard, but if you put the fretboard on, you certainly don't want it like overhanging the cutaway in there. It's got to absolutely butt up to the edge of the cutaway. I mean, you know, being in a little bit, you can obviously sand a little bit of the cutaway to match the neck, but you certainly don't want to be the other way. So that's crucially where it should be. In addition, the actual neck socket is always a bit longer than I mean, if you look at any picture of any Les Paul, the neck is the neck tenon on the end of the neck is actually always a little bit shorter than the actual hole for the neck socket. So this is a template I have of a I can't remember whether I bought this or made it, I don't know, but this is pretty good. So this is your I can't remember what the standard neck tenon length is, but if I put this on here, you can just see that it's a little bit shorter than the length of the neck socket sort of thing. So we know we're on the right track, and with it all drawn out on here, you know, you've got the center line along this template matches the center line going up the neck. The neck shoulders here fit to the edge of the body nicely, so I know I'm in the right ballpark. Now the problem is getting the template on in the right place. You know, I can see the lines that I've drawn on for the I mean, I'll use it this way up actually, because I've got the center line and I can see through the wire channel routing thing that I'm exactly on the center line there, got it all lined up. So if I attach it on here, and the way I'm going to attach it is this section here, either side of the neck tenon, you won't see because the fretboard will be over it. So I can put a couple of screws in there to hold the template, and then with the spacer in at the back, the 27mm spacer or whatever it was for the height of the I can put a clamp, a G clamp on there sort of thing. So we'll be you know, we should be all right. Then we can check. I mean, I can tell here you know, this lines up perfectly, and I can feel all around the edge of the body, and I can see the center line there, which is nice. I'm going to extend this center line here to the end of the body, so I can, when I've got the template on, I can check it with that center line on there. So I think we're all good. So the next stage now is going to be finding some little screws that I can screw in there, and then we can start routing the neck pocket. It's one of those things that you know, is really well worth spending time getting right, because if you get this right, you know, the neck goes in, lines up with everything, and just makes life a lot easier for you. So be careful to get this correct, or as near as you can. You know, and the thing is, with Gibson, on the 53 I looked at, the neck joint started, the body hit the neck joint at just beyond the 16th fret. Well, a lot of Les Pauls you look at and stuff like that, their neck joint does vary quite a lot, because it was actually done by hand. It was actually finished by hand, and what they did, you know, they did the neck joint, they put the neck in, did all the fettling, and the neck, you know, the neck might have moved around a little bit, and sometimes the neck was at an angle, and if you projected what they did then to do the bridge posts, was they actually had a metal jig that was 2 bars of metal that went down the edge of the fretboard, fitted on the neck exactly. They could push it on the neck, and then that extended off with 2 holes in it where to drill the bridge posts and the tailpiece posts. It just looks like, you know, 2 slabs of metal coming down either side with 2 cross pieces. I've seen a picture of the jig they used, and quite often, because the necks were fitted by hand, the neck could be, you know, exaggerated, could have been like that or like that. And there are some stories of people saying, oh, why are my knobs in different places on the Les Paul? And it's not that the knobs are in a different place, the knobs are always in the same place, but if the neck was slightly twisted that way, the bridge would be nearer the knobs. I mean, it'd be the center joint of the two matched pieces of maple for the top, and then it looks as though the bridge is off center from those. Well, it actually is, probably, because it wasn't unusual to see, you know, few mil or where it was out of line, sort of thing, but that's just the way it was. But you know, try and get it as good as you can, and then, you know, you don't run into that problem. So I'll get this screwed on, get ready to route, and then bring you back. Right, so here you go. I've got the template now. It's screwed at the front in these 2 countersunks, so it's solid, it can't move anywhere, and it's clamped on the back. And underneath here I've got the spacer, I think it was 27mm, to give it the 3.5 degree like slope. And I can see on here where we machined this 3.5 degree slope using this little kiddie for the top of the fretboard joint on the body. It's absolutely laying perfectly flat on there, so everything is right. The other thing I've done is I can see the center line through the wire channel here on the template and on the body, and they perfectly in line. And also just on the end here, got the center line on the edge of the template and the center line marked on the bottom of the body, and I know my router table is 100% flat, well, near as damn it. If I put a square on there, line it up, it's absolutely perfectly square there. The advantage of full-size templates, you know, I can check that there and it's perfect. The template's not overhanging the body or anything. Just here it's absolutely fine, so that's really good, and here it's okay. Lines up everywhere. Now the other thing I wanted to check as well is what you've got to be careful of is, you know, you want the template not to be tipped on the body at all, which it, you know, if you've done your carving slightly oddly or something, it could well be. So if I put this straight edge over here and then measure down, I'm on the ruler there and on the bench, on the ruler there and on the bench, so I know this thing is parallel to the bottom of the body, so we're all like good. You know, you don't want to sort of do your mortise at an angle. So I'm pretty sure we're absolutely fine there, so we can go ahead and start routing this this neck joint. Always like a, you know, it's a pretty crucial time of the build, so you know, you want to get it right. The other thing is as well is, you know, I've seen people put clamps round here and things like that, and what you've got to be careful of is that, you know, there's nothing underneath this template apart from this spacer block at the back, and if you clamp down here you bend the template flat. So, you know, be careful how you clamp it. This whole surface wants to be dead flat, which it is. So, you know, if you put clamps here, you can bend it down. So let's just take a little light cut. I've got my, you know, bearing guided router cutter in here, just a 1/2 inch one. Well, this router cutter is absolutely as blunt as my arse, so let me find a better router cutter. I've really got to get some new ones. I'll switch you off and get set up again. Well, here we go. I've got a new router cutter in now, so damn sight easier. Let the router cutter stop before you take it out, as you're bound to catch it, but I'll just zoom you in a little bit so you can see. So there's the neck joint being cut now, and we've got to go down 30 what was it, 38.1 mil or something like that. So I'll just carry on with that now and we'll rock and roll. Right, we're about as deep as we can go with that cutter. How deep are we? Probably about halfway there. Just have a quick check. Looks we're about 15, 18 mil or something. Yeah, we're 18 mil deep, so we've got to go down a fair amount more, but I'm as deep as I can go with that cutter now, so I've got to put a longer cutter in. Right, well, you can see the next cutter I'll be putting in will be this one, or one like this one if I find a sharp one, and then we can probably do the full depth of that. So I'll get back to you and show you the end result. I've finished that routing, so you can see the nice neck joint there. Shall we check the depth of it? I went, by my calculations, just a fraction deeper, because this surface that we've machined here for the neck slope, I want to give that a bit of a sanding, so I mean I can feel machine marks on there, sort of thing, so I want to give that a bit of a sanding. But if we zero this off now, so it should be 38.1 mil or something, so let's zero it. But I went slightly over that, So we're 38.47, which is fantastic. I mean, I can, you know, I can put the neck in there. I mean, if we get a neck, so this is more or less the finished thickness. So if you put that there, you can see that you know, we're absolutely spot on with the depth on there. Of course, everywhere sort of is absolutely fine. Yep, so that's all wonderful. Let's just get this rather crude template, but well, that is a bit of a I mean, it does fit in there, but it's a bit of a tight fit. But of course, you're going to have a bit of, you know, you're going to have a bit of wiggle room. But you can see now where the neck tenon will go, sort of thing, on there. So yeah, we're all pretty good there. I mean, it is a, you know, it's one of those routings you've got to get right, and you know, can see that this is the same height all the way down, touching the bottom there, touching the bottom up there at 38 mil. So everything is really good with that now. So I mean, I'll just carry on and do it on the other body. Well, hi there again, and here you go. Here's the two neck joints done now, or neck tenons. I've just got a bit of cleaning up to do in here. I didn't quite catch it with the router. That's fine. So if we look at them now, I'll just do it so you can see. We've got this template of the neck with the center line down it. So I'll push that against the edge of the mortise there, and you can actually see how well it fits widthwise and everything. So it's in the perfect place. And if we put this straight edge down, let's do it this way, you'll be able to see it better, I think. So we'll put the neck goes in there. We'll put the ruler exactly down the center line, and then we put it, and you can see it's there's not even an error. So that's perfect, the line of the neck joint on that body. And here again, we'll push it against this side here. Just put it on the center line exactly. And you could argue it's absolutely perfect, but there must be about 0.5 millimeter deviation at the end from the center line to the ruler, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm well happy with that, but there is one slight cock up, and that's why I dislike that small router. When I was using the depth stop to creep up to the right depth, the depth stop slipped, and I've dug a hole that's probably about 1 millimeter too deep just in there. And how irritating is that? You know, it couldn't have happened up here where you wouldn't have seen it. It has to happen on the front. But I mean, I can just put a little bit of wood in there and I'm sure you won't even notice it, but it's just, yeah. When it comes to doing the tenon on the end of the neck, to match the hole in there, I've actually I've actually made a jig where I can put this in a jig and route the edges and everything like that. So you've got the mortise, the male part of the mortise being done, sort of, something like that. But in all honesty, I I actually just prefer cutting it by hand. I mean, I've routed it, done that before, and there's like a lot of setting up to do, which is fine, that's no problem. I mean, you think you could just like clamp this on top of there and just route round there, but again, you've got this wobbliness, you've got the router only on half a bit. But you know, I've made a proper jig and done it, and I still prefer cutting it by hand. So there we go. We kind of half a dozen of one and 6 of the other, but I'll be cutting those by hand, and we'll go from there. So yep, I'll catch up with you in a moment. Okay, hi there again. Sorry, I didn't know the video was running. Right, I've drawn where the body joins the neck across there. I'd done that previously anyway to plan the neck out, but I've marked now the tenon, the neck tenon on there, width wise, and where it joins the body there, that's the, if you like, the closest bit to the body, because you join it on and then the neck tips down, so you've got to take a bit more wood off the bottom there on a slope to allow the neck to tip down and the thing to butt up. So you want this line to match where your fretboard joins the body. So I've got the widest possible blade in here that I can to cut these nice and square, and I've actually got a cut on the line. It's one thing I just wanted to check. Yeah, I squared that off as well. So the top and the bottom of this is square. Got a nice clean table on here, so I can cut this out now, and let's do that. Right, so we've got them. I'll put you back over this way. Right, so we've got them roughly cut out now. The neck tenons. Of course, they don't fit yet, but they're about 1/2 millimetre away, and you know, a bit of tidying up, and I'm sure that won't be a problem at all. Nice and square on there. Mahogany is such a soft wood that it doesn't take long, but it probably won't fit yet anyway. But oh, it's just starting to go in now, so a little bit more and I'm sure we'll be there. So I'll get back to you. Go against the body, and you know, you'll have the little, you know, for the neck angle down there, but that all comes later on. Yeah, so we're all really good there. Great stuff. It's all good. Ta-da. Stays there without any. Absolutely fine. Good. So we'll yeah. So I don't know if that video caught it, but whether I was recording there, but there's the neck joint there, and flat, absolutely flat with the body, so the You know, the fretboard goes on top and it sits next to it. It's absolutely perfect. I'm just not sure whether I was recording earlier just to show you, but you can see how well that neck fits in there. And the other one as well. It's a bit looser, this one, but still fine. So again, flat with the top to get that 3.6 angle. Yep, so it's all good really. What I think I'll do is this little fucked up routing bit, I'll just glue a bit of Honduran mahogany in there, just a scrap, and then shave it off tomorrow, and hopefully no one will be the wiser apart from us watching the video. So there we go. I think we're all coming on pretty successfully now with these, so that's all really good. So hi there, what I've done here, I've fitted this neck temporarily to the body, just jammed it in there basically. Now I've lined up, as I've done 100 times before, down the center of the neck with using the truss rod cover, and you know, we like perfect down the center line. We may be like, yeah, I think it's perfect. And the other thing also to look at when you do the neck joint, I forgot to mention, is as well as the angle of the neck this way and this way, look at it this way as well. You don't want the neck tipped in the joint, and that is probably one of the, you know, biggest faux pas. Tend to forget about that, but look down from the end of the body and make sure it's not cranked like that. So we've got that right. I've put my template on here, and how I lined it up, I've got a center line on it, and I lined the center line up, and then I checked on the edge here, you know, right, put a square on the edge of the body there, put one here that's so, you know, it's all lined up, and on the front, and then I drew round where the pickups are. So we know now, checking the neck, you know, the center line we've got on the body is, it's perfect. So let's just check now that the pickups are in the center. I mean, we've got 43 millimeters that way. We just 43.7 that way. I mean, near as damn it really. And we've got 43 there and 43 there. So really, you know, I mean, that's absolutely fine. We may have the pickups like, or the neck center line, perhaps the neck needs to shift a little bit over to the cutaway side sort of thing, but we can wiggle with that later when we glue the neck in anyway. So, but we're close enough there, you know, we've not got a pickup like, you know, 5 mil that way or something or whatever compared to the neck angle. So it's just a check. So now we know where the pickups have got to be routed to. So I'm going to do that on the pin router, mainly because of these like quite sharp corners round the pickup cover. You can't use a 1/2 inch router on that, it doesn't look right. You need a 1/4 inch router, and because of the problem, if I put, like, you know, the template on here and I'm trying to route down, you know, I've got the neck cavity that the router would go underneath, the bearing would slip off and go underneath. I've also got, like, you know, if it was more extreme of an arch top, you'd have gaps under the edge of the routing. I mean, you can do it with a, you know, with a handheld router, but you'd have to change router bits for the corners to really small ones with bearings. And you know, when you change router bits. The cuts don't perfectly line up. So anyway, I'll get you back when I get this all set up with my pin router to do it. Okay, well, this is where I start getting a bit nervous. I've got the template stuck on the bottom. I've got my pin router set up now, and I've basically done a dry run with it just above the body, just checking that it's following the line properly, and it seems to be. My drawings that I've got here of the individual cavities, I've got the neck pickup that I'm doing. So this pickup shaped hole, not the wire channel stuff, is 12.2 millimeters deep from the top. So that's as deep as I want to go. But let's just start off with a light cut and see how we're going to go. I tell you what, I'm still not used to doing this, but here we go, shit or bust. So there we can see our cavity starting there, and you know, we're exactly on the line, and now we had this like pickup ring. You can tell that's fitting on there quite nice, so I think we're okay, and we can carry on. Right, here we go. Here's the front pickup cavity now routed, and you can see it's almost like geology sort of thing. Geology, is that right? Archaeology. You know, you discover your you know, your wire channel and stuff as you cut down, and there's the pickup going in there now, so that's you know, that's nice and accurate. The distance I had down here in this part of the pickup cavity, obviously there's the deeper bit to go for the wires and things, was 12.2 at the thickest, and I've got 12.93, so I'm about 0.5 millimeter, you know, too deep, but that's okay because I've got to sand the top anyway, you know, and there's finish to go on and stuff like that. I mean, you know, I mean, to be 0.5 millimeter is fine. So that's the front pickup now. That's kind of in there and done, so that's nice, and I can see that the center line runs, you know, pretty much between these two pole pieces, which is, you know, it's fine. It's coming down. Yeah, I think we're about right to give it a go. Well, here's the back and the front cavity done now, just the top part of it, and that, what have we got? This is meant to be 10.2 and we 10.6, so we just a bit like just a bit too deep, but that's no problem. I must admit I'm not overly pleased. I think something must have moved on this router, because I've actually got a bit of a wobbly edge here, which I'm not too pleased about. Something must have caught, something like that, but front one is absolutely perfect. but this back one is got a bit of a wobbly edge there, and I might have to just glue a bit of maple in there, which is a bit of a shame, but I don't want it like, you know, I don't want it like that sort of thing. So yeah, may have to rejig this this template a little bit before I do the other body. Yeah, going back to these pickup problems, it's quite interesting actually. Obviously, like, you know, what I think I've done on this is actually sized. I mean, this is the original early 50s P90. I've sized the pickup hole to the pickup, which, I mean, looks pretty good. I mean, it looks bloody excellent, really. That looks absolutely perfect. Now, what I've done is I've glued some veneer inside this front pickup hole, and now it actually measures the same as my drawings for the 53. So if we look at like the width here, well, we're 86.71, and it should be 87, and going across it should be 34.3, and it's 34.7. so, you know, but when I try and push the pickup in it here, it does go in, but it's actually really quite tight. So I don't quite know what I've done. I think I've just been it's happened because of probably a few compound errors maybe in this and that, so I've ended up with a back pickup pocket here. The front pickup pocket, I'm absolutely, you know, I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't see any problem with that at all. You know, as you can see on there, you know, I mean, I'm like that. I mean, it's dropped in the hole a bit, but it's absolutely fine. But when you look at the back here, I mean, you could probably get away with it with, like, you know, you kind of think, you know, what I think I'll do is I'll glue a little bit of maple veneer along that side there so I can straighten it up, and then I think it will absolutely be fine, because you think you've got a few layers of sanding sealer to go on there, you've got like you know, gold paint, stuff like that, which is all pretty thick, and the last thing you want to start doing is, you know, filing down your finish to fit the pickup. So I'm not unhappy with it. I'm not happy. I think the thing that bothers me the most is like this wobbly edge here, which I think was a result of the cutter going a bit funny, because I can see it's obviously taken, you know, the bottom pass is fine, the top pass has got, so I will be gluing a bit of veneer in there, and I think it will be all right then. I mean, with paint on that and everything like that, I think that would be really good. And I'm wondering now whether this, you know, this veneer I've glued round here to try and rectify the problem will give me problems once I've painted the guitar. I actually think that will be all right with paint on it. I mean, paint adds quite a thickness. Anyway, sorry about my pontificating, but I'll address. Don't quite know what to do now, but oh well, rock and roll. Well, hi, I'm back, and on this mystery pickup quest, and what I've actually done is I've made a completely new template for the pickups now, and I actually used this template it fits width-wise, those pickups, these original early 50s pickups, absolutely fine width-wise going across the length, but back to front it's too big. So what I did, I cut these new holes out using this template, but cut only sort of 3/4 of the width, and then unscrewed and just slid it forward by 1 millimeter. So I've got nice accurate corners and cuts, but you can see how well that actually fits in there now. So it's much, you know, it's quite a tight fit. I don't know whether I'm going to, there's the original there, I don't know whether I'm going to regret that, because it's just one of those things, you know, once I get paint on the other one, you know, you've got the thickness of the paint and all that kind of thing to think about. I mean, I suppose I'm being a bit pedantic with it, but anyway, as it is now, I've got this new template to work with, so we can go from there and cut the holes in the second body with this. And well, hi there, I've done the second body now with the new templates for the pickup cavities, and yeah, they're all really nice. Routes. Now the next bit we've got to do is cut these T-sectioned holes, so that will go on the back like that, and then we'll cut down and do those. These aren't really so accurate. They're a bit messy in the original, really. They're very wobbly and messy, so you know, I'm not too bothered about you know, there was steps, you know, when you went down to the bottom of this cavity, like this bit here, there was little steps and things, you know, before going down into this hole here, so I'm not really that bothered about that. They're obviously done just quick and dirty sort of thing. So I'll get prepared to do those. I don't think I'll do them today, but thanks for watching. Right, this is what you get when you route from the top and you've got like a cavity underneath the template. So you typically have a router like this with a bearing on it, and then you start, like, you know, plunging down using the template to take, you know, to take the router, but then all of a sudden you go below the template, your bearings on the what's it, but then all of a sudden clonk, and you end up making a complete mess of it. The way you can get round that is stack a load of bearings on a cutter, so as you go down, I hope you can see this, as you go down, I mean, if I do it this way up, probably, as you go down through the wood, your second bearing catches on and you can actually go deeper. The problem we've got here is that these like channels here for the pole screws they're not as wide as a half-inch cutter, so you have to go to a specialist cutter like this that's got a little bearing on it, and then, you know, this will fit through that. But the problem is you can't stack bearings on this, so you have to, you know, get different length cutters so you can get to the right depth without actually the bearing falling through and cutting it. So, you know, the only option with something like this is to really cut it with a pin router, or if I'd have been sensible, I'd have cut these first and then cut the bigger hole. That would have been the brainy thing to do, but then yeah, that's that's something you could the problem I guess with cutting that hole first, you've got to be confident they're in the right place, but that wouldn't be too difficult. In retrospect, you learn something every day, so we could have done that, and that would have been the answer. But for now, what I think I'm going to do is set up the old pin router again, stick this on the back, and just go for it and see what happens. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to 3R Guitars. Yesterday we were cutting the like pickup cavities, not the deepest part, but just the square for the you know, the main route sort of thing for the cover size. I must have been really fussy yesterday or something, because I went and I made new templates and things like that, which I'm not sorry about, because, you know, when I look at my old templates, there is a slight wobbly line on there, and there I must have finished them with a file or something, and these ones I actually cut with the Stuart McDonald Perspex template and just shifted it a bit to make it smaller back to front. But really, you know, all of them are pretty good. I mean, you look on here now at this one. This was the one cut with the old template that, yeah, is a bit wobbly, but if you look, you know, you put that in there, okay, there's, well, I mean, it's sitting down there a little bit, but, you know, if you have it, it's difficult to, if you have it sort of up slightly, you know, I've got a bit of tidying up to do around there, and that, to be honest, is probably the worst hole. If you put it in the front one, you know, that's absolutely fine. If we put it in this one, get this one nearer for you so you can see it, you know, I'm not cheating. I mean, that's A1, you know, and equally this front one here, that's like pretty much A1 really. So I think they're all okay. They're all good, you know, certainly good enough. Let's put this precious thing away. Now the next step is cutting these holes. Now these typically were really like rough in the originals. It was almost, you know, I mean, I've like traced them, if anything, and you can see how, you know, that they almost look to be done like freehand, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were. Now, if I put these on that template, they do like fit really, they do fit really well, but I'm a bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous about doing it with that pin router, you know, when you're below it and you can't really see exactly where you're doing it. But I should really just have the balls and do it and trust my templates. But one mistake at this stage kind of really pisses you off a little bit, you know. And, you know, I can see, you know, looking down here that the, you know, they do fit, and, you know, it would definitely do the job. So I guess I should just go ahead, because right, well, here we are. I've got the template glued on now with the old double-sided tape. This is obviously on the back. Now make sure, please, that you have these in the right place. You want the square on the neck pickup next to the switch, because that's where the wires come through, and the square on the back pickup the other way next to the cavity. So I can do my usual now. Unfortunately, you can do a dry run with a pin router, you know, and see exactly where the cutter's going. I don't want to catch any of these sides. I want to be inside that all the way round. And what I'm thinking is that, you know, I mean, you're talking like, you know, 0.5 millimeter, things like that. And yeah, let's face it, I made this and it's not going to be accurate as a professional machine, but you know, at least you can put it underneath and you can test it out. So I'll get on and do that now, and we'll see what happens. So I'll get back to you. So let's see how this has come out then. I'm actually really pleased with that. You can see that you know, it's cutting the square there and just leaving a slight edge which would be exactly like the originals, and then you can see the end of the tip. I haven't taken the waste wood out in the middle yet, and it's not cutting into here or anything, so I think I think relief wise that's pretty good. Trying to actually find the darn peg. There we go. So let's go a bit deeper now. There's so much frigging safety junk on these like routers, all this shield and everything like that. It makes in my opinion, it makes it more unsafe, because you've got to scramble around it to try and see what the hell you're doing. Now I'm sure this will make it more plainly obvious what's happening. Right, there we go. So we're getting the cut in there now. We're taking that bit down there. This is the end of the, you know, the square here, and we got that there. So we'll just check the depth now. I'm not sure whether the depth actually goes down to the bottom of the wire channel there, or there was a slight step, but we'll check that now. Right, so that's the neck pickup cavity, and we got depth to the shaded area, which is that square bit there, was 20 millimeters at the deepest point, which is around there. So this is 0. Let's have a look how deep we are. 20.79. So there we go. So here we go. Now we've got the back and the front routes cut for these. I mean, basically this center slot fits the pole pieces, and then you have like the end bit for the wiring, if you like, and the wire channel now is there. We've got our like a bit of archaeology there as we route through, and the wire channel going here to the switch. But this is pretty much exactly as the original looked. I mean, well, here we go. Here's the second one done, and literally it took me like 15 minutes. That was it. You know, once you've, you know, I got the accuracy on the other one and everything, and I just stuck the template on, whizzed round, and that's it. Here's the two bodies now. The only thing I think we've actually got to do to them is drill pilot holes for the pots in the right place. we've got to drill a jack socket hole in them, which is not, no, it's not going to be difficult. Probably the next difficult bit to do is the routing channel for the binding around the body. You know, that can be a tricky job, but I've got a secret plan for that. The difficult thing doing the routing channel for the binding is actually this bit here, because you want the binding to rise up so you can see a little bit of the bottom of the maple there. The bottom edge of the binding is not a straight line. The binding is only like I can't remember how deep it is, probably about 5 or 6 mil deep. It's actually tiny on the early Les Pauls, but it bends up and back down to the neck there, so you do actually see that little crescent of maple under there, and that actually makes it difficult, because you've got to, the router's got to follow the top, and when you've got an arch top, you can't hold the router down in it. So I'll show you how that all works in my next video, but I'm going to decide what to do now, what to do next, whether to carry on with the necks and the fretboard, or you know, finish the bodies sort of thing. But anyway, well pleased. These are exactly as, these routes are exactly as the, you know, they look identical to the 53 I had a shifty around. So yeah, it's all good. So speak soon.